Inside Angling, the catch and release series, is proudly powered by Yamaha, lured and landed by Rapala, and driven by Halfway Toyota. Anyone who's experienced the magic of a sunrise here, or had the pleasure of traversing the mighty African waterway that is the Zambezi River, will understand why we get back there as often as humanly possible. The Barotse Tiger Camp is remote, even by Zambezi standards, which is what makes the fishing so good. Part of the package is a private charter to the dusty town of Lukulu and the smiling welcome of the Lozi children, who clearly meet very few strangers. Graham and Gerard, the owners of the camp, and some of the most avid anglers we've come across, have spared no expense or effort in making the search for big tigers as comfortable as possible. The tents are spread along the riverbank in the shade of large trees, and lush lawns add to the colonial ambience. The food's great, and there's a never-ending supply of iced drinks. Fishing aside, one could happily pass a day or two simply relaxing and taking in the sights and sounds of an Africa long forgotten to most of us. The fully kitted boats are probably the best we've ever fished off. Given all this, Tomo couldn't wait to get on the water with his old mate Jerry to tackle some of the renowned Barotse tigers.
Well, we had an absolutely fantastic day's fishing yesterday. We tried the drop shot, and Jerry was using FZ spoons. The drop shot certainly held its own, and it was very, very exciting to me to get those big tigers out on drop shot, first time trying. And today we're gonna carry on with that. We're gonna try with some more drop shot fishing and a few different techniques, and we'll also I'm gonna use some Rapalas, which I'm gonna wait because the fish have been feeding right on the bottom. But certainly the size of the tiger fish at Barotse Tiger Camp where we're fishing today is just outrageous. I mean, I've fished the Zambezi many times in many different parts of the Zambezi, and Jerry, you found the motherlode, really.
That's right, this is the place.
The weaponry that we've decided to bring out against these serious tigers are, I'm going with a little Shimano Stella 5000 reel, and I've mounted it onto the Shimano Beastmaster Special Tiger rod, which is an awesome little outfit. I've actually used this for sailfish in the saltwater and had success, so I'm quite sure that it can handle even the biggest tiger fish that the Zambezi has to throw at us. And Jerry's gone a different route. Jerry, I see you've gone the multiplier route today.
Yep.
You've got a Shimano Calcutta and a Jimmy Houston bait casting rod, which is also a Shimano product. We're using braid. I've got 30-pound Power Pro braid on. Jerry, you've gone the Suffix braid route, and you're a bit stronger, eh? 40-pound.
40-pound, yeah.
On. Right. Oh, a nice fish straight away.
Not such a big fish, but
not so big, but still
open
nice.
the batting.
Nice way to start open the batting, eh? Well done, Jerry.
Thanks, Tomo.
On the scorecard. And the fish feels nice and warm in my hands. The water's obviously a lot warmer than the air is. But look at that typical tiger fish, all the colours on the fins, and of course the most distinctive thing about these fish are those teeth. Look at that serious set of dentistry on that way. You would not want to get your finger in there, believe me. Fantastic, sleek freshwater game fish. Africa's very own freshwater game fish. These fish are not found on any other continent than Africa. So anyone who wants to catch one has got to come and do it here. And the Zambezi River is world headquarters for these fantastic biting freshwater fish. Off you go. Gone in a flash. Last thing about this part of the Zambezi is that there are not too many crocodiles here. So you can put your hand over the side and wash it. And the chance of getting eaten are slenderer than on other parts of the river. So a big tiger puts up a decent fight, eh?
He does it. It's just that initial hit is amazing, but these bigger guys, often what they do is they run towards you and then there's a problem.
But Joe, I mean, you can't give these fish any slack at all, because with those very hard mouths you find that the hook is normally just lightly set. It's not right through the bite. And as long as there's tension on the line, it stays in place. Put. Oh well, that's alright. It's nice to have a different species. A big bobble. Under his butt. It was a matter of time before we got a big catfish. We've been bumping our lures right on the bottom, and that's where these guys generally feed. Wow, look at that big, healthy Zambezi catfish. Well done, Jerry, and he certainly gave you a good pull, eh? You thought you had a good tiger on there. But you see with these little barbels of his, these whiskers, they use these down in the depths, in the dark water, to pick up vibrations and to sense fish moving. He's a good specimen.
What does he weigh then, Tomo?
14 pounds on the nose. Nice thing about catfish, they can actually stay out of the water for a very long time. They can actually get oxygen out of air, but we'll let him go back. There he goes. They've got all sorts of specialized adaptations that makes them a highly successful fish, and they can live in a very low oxygen environment by breathing air, getting some oxygen out of the air. And they can also bury themselves in mud during the dry season when a wet area dries up, and next time there's rain and it gets wet again, they come out and populate that pan again. So, interesting fish, catfish.
You speak English? These fish traps is what they use to catch fish in the reeds. And if you look at the size of the square holes in those traps, they only catch fish bigger than that, which is a really sustainable way for them to catch fish. And these old traditional ways are certainly the way to go when it comes to looking after your fish resources. Unfortunately, gill nets have now been introduced, which you know, the older guys still use these traditional traps, but gill nets are a problem. This thing comes off. Oh. Oh, he's a relative gunner, eh?
He's got that whole spoon in his mouth. Nice big. Oh. Lovely, nice big heavy fish. Just on 13 pounds. Another fantastic Barotse Tiger Camp tiger fish. But I think, as opposed to jaws, this one could be called gums. If you have a nice close-up, just take a close-up of that old mouth. Sort of thing you'd find in a fish old age home, eh? Magnificent fish. Well done, bud. The floodplains flood for many kilometers around the river, and then as the water levels drop, the water starts to push back into the channel. All the small fish that have bred in the grass get pushed back in, and this is why all those big tigers are here. Well, this is typical of part of the floodplain that's draining off into the main channel of the river. As you can see, there's water flowing out of the grass and it's come down a little channel. An area like this is a definite feeding area. The good sign of that is birds. If you see birds sticking around, you know that there's fish movement there, and we go there, we put our lures in, bang, we go tight. Your sun gets hot up here, Jerry.
Yeah, it always helps to have a decent suntan lotion.
No, it sure does. You want to use some of that? It's very good, Ray. Just bumping it along the bottom once again. Literally right on the bottom. Very, very slow retrieve. It's a very energetic fish, this one. There you go. Lovely. Oh, it's 11, bumping on to 12. We'll call him 12. 12-pound fish. Nothing wrong with that, eh? And that was taken on the Slam Radical Rooster drop shot with the little trailing stinger hook behind it. And fantastic Barotse Tiger Camp tiger fish. He's so ready to go. Off you go. It's wonderful. I think one of the nicest parts of catching a fish like that is actually watching it go back into the water. Yes. That's what you call a dead drift hookup, huh?
It was on exactly, eh?
Looked like a nice fish too.
That's a nice fish, eh? I don't want you to jump.
Oh, he just popped his head up.
Yeah, bringing him up now.
Oh, he's a great fish. Whew, that's a, and he's heavy, I can feel that. That's a great fish, Jerry. That's the top hook on the lure, the one that's up near the eye, and that hooked him right on the scissors there. 14 pounds on the nose. Lovely fish, Jerry. Fantastic Barotse Tiger Camp tiger fish. Nothing wrong with that, huh? He can eat something pretty big, and there's no such thing as a hook being too big. It's just to set it through. This is like rock here. Solid bone all the way around. Very hard. Alright, let's get him back in the water. Stop terrorizing him.
Come on, boy.
Oh, decent fish too. My Baramag Rapala has certainly hooked me into something nice, eh? Oh, yeah, we drifted over a just drifted over a little hump in the water, a little pinnacle, and I threw that Rapala out. Jerry said, hey, have a throw here. Got some nice deep water with a little shallow hump. I threw that Rapala in and I pulled it just along the edge of the pinnacle, and bam, get the net ready there. Ooh. Nice big broad back, that fish. What a magnificent fish.
You might need that.
I think I will, eh? Only thing about fishing with these Rapalas is that you get a number of treble hooks, and certainly in the net situation like this, the trebles in your net makes friends. Another 14-pound Barotse flat plain Zambezi tiger fish. Man, it's a mean looking creature. That's all I can say. Incredibly mean looking creature. Teeth like that, the most amazing colors. I mean, those dark stripes and those blood red edges on the tail and orange fins. Just a magnificent fish. And we're the only continent to be able to boast this fantastic freshwater game fish. And you won't find sizes like this just anywhere in the Zambezi River. But you come all the way up here to the Barotse floodplains and you will. I think let's just get this guy back in the water. Been out long enough. Fantastic fish. Thanks for the great fight. Mwah! I wouldn't do that lightheartedly without a burger grip in its mouth. Right. Very stoked to use that Rapala and get a fish first time up. And I'm actually not going to keep using it because I worry about those two treble hooks damaging the fish. But I just wanted to be sure that lure would work, and it worked like a shot. I haven't even been using it for more than 5-10 minutes, and one strike, one big fish. So here we've got a different type of fishing. We've got the local guys checking their nets and removing their catch from what's come off the floodplain. That's the type of thing that we're trying to imitate with our lures, really. You can see why that very broad F-set spoon works so well. That broad shape of that fish. You can see that very coppery color. And obviously that flash of the copper on the spoons is imitating that, and that's what's triggering that strike action of the fish. So what you got, your racks full of small fish which have been caught in the nets, and they've been smoked and dried, and the bigger fish have been split down the middle and opened up so that the flesh can get properly dried and doesn't go rotten. Obviously once these fish are all dried and smoked, they can be taken. Where do they go, Jerry? Do they take them to town?
They take them to Lekulu, and then from Lekulu there's they transport them to the mining area up into the copper belt, and they sell them basically to the miners. Nice marble.
The nets can't stay in the strong current, so they're not putting the nets into the main part of the river. These are all in the backwaters. As these lands around here, these very, very flat areas flood, and when the flood recedes, there's lots of pools and little lakes and plays that are left with fish trapped in them, and this is where the bulk of these fish are being netted. And then occasionally in the main river, right along the reed edges and the grass edges, they can put the nets in there. They don't get affected too badly from the current, but certainly they can't put a net across any of the main channels where the big tigers go, because that net would simply get washed away and damaged. So the tigers are safe pretty much from this type of fishing, from the netting and the fish traps that these guys put in around the floodplain drain-offs and those kind of areas. But very interesting to see the number of small bream and things, and that's the food that the tigers are eating. Something like this here be one mouthful for some of those big tigers that we catch.
What the guys are doing here is they dig a pit, and then they put obviously a grid over it, and they don't make a big fire under it, they just make a fire big enough to smoke. So they smoke the fish, and once the fish is smoked enough, then they put them on these drying racks. And now the whole system, the way it works here, because we're in the floodplains here, there's no trees or very little trees, so you get guys bringing wood down, and they trade wood for fish. So they'll bring wood for the guys, and then they take fish back, and that way these guys have enough wood to smoke all their fish. So everything here is a whole barter system. But yeah, and this is the way these guys live. You know, it's the only source of income is the fish they catch.
Awesome. Just eat it like this, huh? Excellent. Let's try a bit, huh? Well, here's the opportunity to taste some traditionally smoked bream on the Zambezi. Smells very nice.
That's nice, eh?
That's good. That's very good. Not a bit more. That's good, guys. I can see why it's popular. Thanks, guys. Cheers, eh? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. One fish on, one fish off, one fish on, one fish off. But this one seems to be on fast.
Be with you now. Get that net.
That's it right down. Yeah, it's right at my rod tip. I was doing a different sort of retrieve. I was going a slow bump and then 3-4 fast twitches and then slow bumps. And here we go. Not the biggest tiger in the Barotse, but when things are quiet as they've been for the last sort of hour or two, you don't turn your nose up at anything. And there's a lovely fish. He is very aggressive. Came right up to my rod tip and basically took that radical rooster that you can see. Radical rooster slam bait. Stuck in his throat down there. There you go, 5-pounder. Goodbye fish, send your mum and dad.
As we went over the drop off, one twitch and on. I think it's a nemwe. A nemwe, can you believe it? Out here. So not only the tiger fish sit on the drop offs, as you can see, because the bait fish come swimming over the top, especially this time of the year, and they're lying there in ambush. Nicely hooked once again with the stinger hook. Oh, we've gone up to 7 pounds. Nice 7-pounder nemwe. Right, off he goes.
Barotse Tiger Camp. Hey, some nice fish here. I must say the amazing thing for me is that the bulk of the fish that you're catching are actually trophy fish. You're not getting a whole lot of small fish. I mean, you're getting almost 50-50. When you get a hit, 50-50 chance that it's actually going to be a 10-pounder or more if it's a tiger fish, and if it's a bream, they've all been big. We haven't got any small bream at all. Fantastic destination and awesome fishing. Probably the way the tiger fishing was when our grandparents were around. So very privileged to experience that. Well, that's the end of another fantastic day's fishing on the Zambezi up at Barotse Tiger Camp. Jerry, thanks again.
Absolute pleasure, Tom. Eh?
Always a pleasure fishing with you, Brad. And your boat's awesome, your place is awesome, your camp is incredible, and I hope that the fishing stays the same. I'd like to come back next year and experience this again. So look after it for us.
That we will do.
I'm sure you'll have lots of happy customers. Type of fishing we've experienced, I can't see anybody going home unhappy.
It's no secret that our fish stocks are under threat around the globe, and everyone needs to make a contribution to their protection. Any single fish successfully released makes a difference. Catch and release is the responsibility of all recreational anglers to ensure that our time on the water will not be spent merely looking for fish. So join us as we explore some of the finest fishing destinations the east coast of Africa has to offer, along with the anglers who will show you where the fish are, what you should be doing when, and how to land fish of any size or species. This is Inside Angling. Inside Angling, the catch and release series, was proudly powered by Yamaha, lured and landed by Rapala, and driven by Halfway Toyota.